So, on this episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast, I want to discuss the issue that seems to not go away, even from youth. It goes through adulthood. Some people die with this worry, and that's caring what other people think, right? And for most, we can master doing something we want to do on a lower level, right? Like if you're dancing in a club and you're having a good time, you're going to dance. For some, that's a big feat. But for most, they're going to dance. If you're cheering for your favorite team, I don't care what people think. This is my team. If I'm wearing face paint, if I'm doing cosplay at like Comic-Con or the movie theater, there's some things where people don't care. But then there's always a level where people hop off, right? Where all of a sudden they hit a wall, like, whoa, I don't know if I want to go that far into that because I care what people think. And I'm not even finna start this off with, the fake confidence. You shouldn't care what people think. Caring what people think is weak. Caring what people think is blah, blah, because it's not. It's a real issue. It's a real problem. And I know the same fear that you have when you're 7 or 8 can go when you're 40 or 50 years old. So that tells you right there that it's not just a mind thing. It's not an issue. It's a real issue. But for someone that does this, for someone that started the year off doing this, that would sweat every time I would talk directly into the camera, that felt stupid. Like, how am I supposed to show emotion? How am I supposed to convey what I'm trying to get across with no one in this room, when no one's hardly listening or the numbers don't show that? And after repetition and after, becoming more comfortable, I can do this in my sleep, right? But I feel like I could speak on it because of the fact that my content is based off of my opinion, which is like at the top. A lot of us feel a certain way and think about certain things that may not go with how the mass feels or thinks about certain things. So therefore, we will not say it, or we will, avoid a conversation about it. Whereas what I'm doing, I'm giving you my opinion on something, well thought out, of course. But at the end of the day, I've had many videos go up where people misconstrue what I said, or people just outright thought I was stupid, told me you should shut up, like you're dumb. And most of the time it's because they didn't really listen to the whole video, because I write for my not for this podcast, but for my shorts and my talking heads, they're all scripted, right? I write it out, I delete it, I cut, I edit it to get the most I can out of 60 seconds. So I'm usually thinking of what I'm speaking before I put it out. So usually when someone tries to come at me, I've already thought of that and I addressed it. But when you come at me, I know you didn't listen to that part of the full video, or you're just ignorant. Either way, right? Enough about me. But I wanted to just dive into the psychology of it, because it's interesting when you think about it, right? You would think that once you got to adulthood, when you're not in the confine of a high school or elementary school or of bullies, that you're free. You do what you want. Like who you want, drink what you want, go where you want, be with who you want to be with, be who you want to be. But there's a construct in society, commercials, TVs, whatever, entertainment, that even as adults, brainwash us to think that we have to present a certain way, be a certain way, look a certain way, etc. Right? So I was just going to because I want this podcast to be offering something to those who are listening, so we can build a relationship. I give you advice. Hopefully you can use it. You follow me in return, and we grow together, right? So the way I approach, I guess I'll start off saying, even though I do all of this, and even though I'm giving advice on this, yeah, there's still some things that I find myself worrying about what someone may say or may think. It's not as extreme as most, but it's still there. So that's just going to give you a gist of, you can still, grow and succeed and conquer that fear, but still have work to do in the process, right? That's life in general. How I got comfortable speaking online, right? Someone would ask that. Because I always suggest to people, like, you should do this. You should, if you just took that information. And what stops people, which blows my mind, right? Like, I know talented people, whether it's in the finance world, whether it's in the health world, the entertainment space, or if they're just funny and I see it, I'm like, man, you have stories to tell. You have a perspective. You have like people will want that. People would listen. I'm telling them like I'm entrenched in this. And I'm like, people would listen to you. Like, no, the way you look at things, your voice, the way you project, your goofiness, your awkwardness, all those things you think are negatives are actually positives in this world of the content space because there are billions of people looking for similar people like them. Just imagine school, but the world. When you go to a new school, what do? You look for people with similar interests. And that's how, if it's sports or if it's the football team, that's where you make your friends, people with similar interests. The internet's the same thing. You may think that your quirkiness or whatever you are is stupid or dumb, but there are billions of people, millions of people looking for someone like you to be an online presence to show them that, hey, it's people like that out me. I'm not the only one for my city or from my country or from wherever. So you're actually doing people a disservice when you don't offer that gift. But the one thing that stops them is worrying about being on camera, worrying about what people would say. And that's a real thing. I'm not saying this to say that they're wrong or to say that they're dumb. That's a real fear. That's a valid fear. I had the same fear. Where my push came is probably out of ignorance. First, I laugh every time I look at my channel and I'm scrolling. I'm like, who do you think you are that you can just talk and give advice and perspectives and people listen or your thought process is people will listen, follow it. But it happens. Every time I put out something, I'm getting followers, comments, people agreeing, disagreeing, people messaging me, thanking me, whatever the case may be. So as it happens, you just start to believe it more and you step into your purpose and your gift. So it started out as ignorance. It also started out as like the way I'm wired is if you tell me X can be done, and if you do X a certain way, consistently at a professional level, there's a possibility of Y could happen. We know what that is. I played football. Why did I play football? I'm sure I was raised to do it. I loved it. But you see people get drafted and immediately you hear stories like I've never seen, 10 million just hit my back, whatever case may be. And then you hear stories about I took care of my mom. I bought them their first truck and I got them tickets to the game. And some of them, go movies. And it's like, man, that can come from football. Okay. That'll push me. I'll play. Right? No lineage of athletes. I have no uncles that I know of or aunts that were famous NFL players or hockey players and nothing. Just like, all right, cool. I'll play it. Small. Mentally, I was whatever I needed to be for that position. I look back now, I was like my senior year, I was 150 pounds soaking wet playing wide receiver. 5'7", 5'8". I get older now, I'm like, there's no way I would have got a scholarship, right? Like college wide receivers, you look at 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 180, 190 pounds, but nothing. But you couldn't have told me that senior year I wasn't going to I wasn't going to go D1, right? Whatever. Ignorance is part of the reason why I do this. What came next for me? What's the stereotype? What you guess? You got it. Rapping, right? Beat making, actually. Fruity Loops. It's making beats. I wanted to be Timbaland. I wanted to be Pharrell. I watch all the docs, how they just make beats, and that got them in the rooms with the Jay-Z's and this and that and making millions of dollars. And I'm like, wait, all I have to do is make beats, and that can open the door. And then we're all fueled at the end of the day either to change our lives or to also change our lives and those around us. That's what most of us creatives want to do, for the most part, right? Is either take ourselves out of situation or also our family and just be able to do those things, live a life of luxury, not be tied to the 9 to 5, all that great stuff, right? So I started making beats, and then you get into that game. If my beat makers are out there, I don't know how the climate is now, but back in the day, everybody rapped until it was time to rap. Everybody rap. You go to any party, you make beats? Bro, I rap. What's your MySpace? Ooh, just dated myself, but it's cool. What's your MySpace? What's your email? Send me a couple. I was sending beats. I wish I kept the email. I sent so many beats to dudes that just rap from all over. Nothing. Now, some would say maybe your beats was trash. Maybe. But, I mean, Your rap was probably trash. You're getting free beats. We can grow together. That was my mindset, but never got anything. So I started rapping. Now, that's what I didn't want to do that. I always said I wanted famous people's income without the fame. I can tell you right now, even though I'm talking in front of a camera, even though my face is and my voice is what's going to propel me to success, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I don't care for red carpets. I don't care for I used to when I was younger. Now, just give me the income. I don't need to be paparazzi'd all out. I don't need to everybody in my business. I don't want none of that stuff. Nothing. I saw Keke Palmer announce her baby on SNL. That's great. I would never do that. I don't want nobody in my business. Just give me the income. So I was always trying to go the producer route, the behind the scene route. But after a while, I was like, hey, my dad rapped. He was rapping in Detroit growing up. So I had that in me. I love writing. I'm a writer at heart. All right, cool. I can rap. Started rapping. Did a couple of mixtapes. It's like, well, by default, if you're doing mixtapes, if you're rapping, eventually you're going to have to shoot music videos and go on stage. When I tell you my first performance I've ever done, heart, fear. But now that I'm older, I'm learning that I have a fight or flight mentality and I fight. And that was always normal to me. I put myself in so many situations where it was, and well, here we go. I've never backed out of a situation. Even if I went up there and bombed or sucked, I never backed out of a situation. Again, this was out of ignorance and this was out of wanting something. There's not at one point where I'm like, I'm just going to get on camera because I'm comfortable talking and I want everybody to hear my opinions. Fast forward, Rapping Didn't Work, Beat Making Didn't Work, podcast, blah, blah, blah. I tell this story all the time. I figured out that what's going to work for me, what's comfortable for me, is speaking my mind. I do it every day. I'm one of those people that you talk to people and they say, man, you always know what to say. Are you that person? If you're that person, you should be doing this. If everybody around you feels like you always know what to say, you should do this. And you don't have to do the video if you don't want to do the video. Do audio only. You might have a better voice than me. There's some people who have great voices. Just soothing to hear. It's full. They project it well. And then they're saying things that make sense. You don't need to see their face at all. But I got to the point where everything I'm doing is because of purpose, right? So I say all that, not to brag and tell you my credentials for a whole podcast, but I say that it's not necessarily getting rid of the fear of what people may think, right? It's putting purpose into what you're doing. Once you're putting purpose into what you're doing, then you don't care what anyone thinks when you're trying to get it done. And that's the trick that I use, right? Even if I say, there's some stuff I've posted where I'm like, this is, I don't know. And now I've trained myself, whenever I feel like that, post it. And I promise you, every video has done well because I'm learning that that's the line that's going to get the attention. And again, it's real stuff. I'm not doing something fake, but I still have that when I release, even though I may look comfortable. I may post hundreds of videos. I still have that little, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I've told myself that I have ridiculous dreams now, ridiculous goals, ridiculous obstacles I want to go over. And I found a space that will allow me to do that. So I don't care what you think, right? If you're broke or you have a kid on the way or something and you get hired at McDonald's making $17 an hour, In and Out making 16. Sure, TLC and Beyonce, oh, you working at a burger joint, blah, blah. But if you have a paycheck coming and now you can pay bills and you can take care of your kids and you can do all that, do you care what people think if you're working at a burger joint? You shouldn't if you do, but you're getting paid, right? You don't care. The way you do not care is to put purpose in what you do and to put planning into your execution. So that is why I am comfortable putting out so much content and speaking my mind, is because I think about everything I'm going to say. I write it out and I do it to where I feel like I'm clear and precise. And then I have a purpose to why I do it. when you combine those two things, I don't, my grandmother and them see this. I might curse, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be scared on my raps, like, dang, my grandmother gonna. Hey, I have a goal now, and I put time and work into it. So if you have anything negative to say, that's just because you have anything negative to say. It's no indictment on me. It's the same thing with you. So if you want to get into this space, or if you just want to go do something you feel, if you want to do anything and the only thing that's stopping you, and you don't have to admit it to me or anyone else, to yourself, the only thing that's stopping you is what other people may think, but you really want to do this, or you think you really want to do this, put in the work to plan and execute correctly and attach some type of goals and passion to it, right? Do those two things, and I promise you, you will not care what anyone thinks when you're driven by those two things, right? When you do all your homework and you come correct and you're passionate and you have goals you want to achieve, you put those two things together, you all of a sudden, poof, do not care what people think. Let me know if that works. It works for me. I think it's foolproof, but hey, things can be tweaked and fixed. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast. If you would like to hear the full audio version, WhoGotTheAux.com. YouTube, Who Got the Aux, one word, for how-to videos, all type of other content, full episodes, shorts, all that good stuff. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Who Got the Aux, one word, for everything on those platforms. Twitter, Who Got the Aux _ Clubhouse, Who Got the Aux. I mean, at this point, I'm trying to some stuff I don't even use. I don't even have a Snapchat. I think I might make a Snapchat just to take the name at this point. And Who Got the Aux? Subscribe, follow. Shouts out to everybody that's been sharing on my stories. I don't ask people to do anything, and so it means more when they do it out of the kindness of their heart, or whatever I'm saying is resonating with them. Appreciate that. If you share, tag me directly, because I like to show off the people that support me and thank them publicly, just like they're, giving me love publicly. So tag me, whatever the case may be. And yeah, man. That's it. I was gonna say something. That's why I paused, but I'm gonna let it be a surprise. But I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna let it be a surprise. So I will see y'all at the next episode. Oh yeah. Check out my Coach Prime Jackson State video. I released a short, just giving my opinion on it. It's only 1:30. Won't take too much of your time. Let me know what you think. I'll see you at the next episode. Peace out. I have to stop doing this. Peace out. It's kind of corny. I need to stop. If you listen to audio, I do this little hand gesture. I don't really like it, but I'm out here. I'll see y'all next time.